For some reason, as podcasters, we love spending money on stuff that we think is going to help us grow. But unfortunately, many of the things that we are buying, much of the money we are spending, we are wasting money. Podcast Growth Nation, today for episode number 183, 8 things that are a total waste of money. I feel bad for a lot of podcasters because podcasting can be like keeping up with the Joneses. When the new microphone comes out, when the new Rodecaster Pro comes out, when the new this camera, blah, 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 everybody wants to go get it because they feel like they're supposed to. But I'm convinced that a lot of podcasters are just wasting large sums of money, assuming that spending money equals guaranteed growth. And while I do believe you have to spend money to make money to an extent, I think a lot of people are spending money in places that are a total waste of that. So today we're going to talk about 8 things. And we'll give a little backstory to each. All right, let's get into it. Also, is it the new year yet? What's today if you're listening to this? If it's New Year, Happy New Year. If not, Happy Almost New Year. All right, 8 things that are a total waste of money. Number 1, ads. One of the questions I get asked most by people is, hey, when do I start running ads? Should I run ads? What is the process of running ads? For this, let's just say we're talking about, well, let's put them into a couple different buckets. Let's say it's a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad, or an ad on another podcast. For most people, I believe that is a waste of money unless you have a way to monetize the audience. So let's say as an example, well, let's throw this out there. One of the main measurements when it comes to ads in general is return on ad spend. So how much money am I getting every time I run an ad? Right? So let's say my average client pays me $500. It takes me $100 worth of ads to get said client. I make $400. Right? I'm in the green, $400. I'm netting $400 from my ad spend. But that is based on the fact that the end user is spending money with you. So yes, Trader Joe's should run ads. Yes, Amazon, Walmart, Ford, BMW, Mercedes, they should all run ads. But it's all factored, okay, we spend $1 million on ads a year. That makes us $4.5 million. Okay, we're making $3.5 million off of ads. Rinse and repeat that forever. Ads are for exposure, for sure. They can definitely help growth, but it's not sustainable for most people if you're not actually having the full circuit of we spend this amount, we make this amount, we net this amount, boom, run that forever. It has to be sustainable, right? If I'm running $100 of ads per month and it's not leading to me making any money, I'm just spending $100 per month. Now, if you have $100 extra, sure, you can try it and see what happens. You could try it, but that $100 could probably be spent better, is what I would say. So I would say number 1 is ads for most podcasters, especially in the beginning, especially if you don't have a product, service, or some form of monetization within your business. Number 2, paying to be in a podcast network. Another question I get asked all the time is, hey, should I be in this podcast network? And my question to them is always, what's the benefit from your perspective? Well, I'm going to be in a network with a bunch of other podcasts that are in the same niche. I don't think it's worth it. No. Unless the network is massive / really good at advertising for you, I don't see any upside, especially if it costs you money. This is one of the most common, this is a weird thing. And I had a lot of clients ask, are you ever going to have a podcast network? I don't see the benefit of it. And we have many podcasts that are in the health niche or many that are in the business niche or self-improvement niche. I don't really see the benefit of it. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think the upside is high enough. And I definitely don't think you should be paying for it. Again, going back to number 1. Let me I'll give a little bonus one on that. Let me make sure I'm not touching on that. Yeah. A bonus, don't pay for views. Don't pay for listens. Don't pay for reviews. That is a waste of freaking money. It is going to tank your algorithm, and it will be very, very hard to get back from that place. We're working with 2 clients right now who had the old, hey, I'm an SEO specialist. I'll help you grow your YouTube channel. And one of them, we've been working with them probably for like 6 months. And we're at the stage now where they're doing almost a video every day. So we're doing like 25 to 30 YouTube videos a month. And we're just starting to work on the algorithm. It's starting to trend up. Things are looking good, but we've repurposed and remastered a bunch of the old content, unlisted all the stuff that had fake views on it. So this person's starting to grow organically, which is nice. We're working with another client. It's been longer than that, probably like, I don't know, maybe 8 months, 6 to 8 months. They're only doing 2 videos a week, and it's taking longer. We're starting to see some actual organic growth and organic traffic and organic impressions, but we are really uphill. It's an uphill battle from here. So don't pay for that stuff. It's not going to help you. Yes, it's a vanity metric. I'm telling you, in the long grand scheme of things, it's not going to help you. That goes into part number 3 for awards/interviews. So I know this might come as a surprise, potentially. I get emails from magazines all the time to be featured as whatever, the main thing, whatever it is. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten reached out to by like a Forbes type magazine that says, just pay us $600 and we'll write a story on you. That happens all the time. Well, former clients, I mean, that is like part of their strategy. They just pay every month to be in Forbes / magazines like it. There's certain articles that you can pay to be in and to have written about you. I don't know if it's actually the whole Forbes thing. I don't know. I don't want to say that because I'm not certain. But there's a lot of people that are paying for awards. Somebody reached out recently and said, hey, we would love for you to enter our competition, our award ceremony. It's $500. And if you win, we send out an email that says you're the winner. And then you can post about it. I'm not paying $500 to win an award that I've never heard of. It doesn't make any sense. Does it build credibility with other podcasters? Yes. Does it build credibility with your audience? No. Your audience does not care that you're an award-winning podcast. It doesn't really matter that much. It's not the same as like this person's an award-winning actor or actress. Like podcast audiences don't think about it the same way. That's not why they listen. They listen because they like you and you add value and you have good guests and you resonate with them and they feel like you understand them. That's why they listen. So don't pay for awards. Don't pay for interviews. I don't think that's really worth it either. Again, especially for most people. So you can pay, what's the name of the show? Social Hour? I don't know. There's a weird, dumb, fake style podcast where you can pay to be on their show. And they reached out to me at one point. I think it was like $1,200. You fly out to their studio. They do an interview. They break it up into 30 pieces of social media content. They have quote unquote millions of followers. It's all a scam. They don't have that type of following. There's no way because there's no way. You can just tell. They have a big social media following, but I'm willing to bet most of it is fake because the content isn't good. If you can pay to be on the show, it means you don't necessarily have to have a good story. You don't necessarily have to be good at podcasting. So I wouldn't pay for that either. Now, there are other shows where you can pay like $5,000, $10,000 to be a guest. If you have a product or service that can make that money back over whatever amount of time, that's a different conversation. But you have to make sure that it's actually real. You have to make sure that the audience is actually real. And for most people, it's a waste of money because a lot of people are lying about this stuff. So I'd be very cautious there. All right, number 4, for someone to do your intro and outro, especially the voiceover piece. I'm all for, if you don't know how to audio edit and you want to pay somebody to get the music and all that stuff, I'm all for that. I think that's worth it. But read your own intro and outro. Don't waste money having some radio announcer do it. I think that's a bad look anyway. Your audience wants to hear from you. You're the host. I wouldn't pay somebody to do a voiceover. As somebody who's been paid to do that for people, I literally say to them, you should read it yourself. Well, I'd rather you do it. Okay, I'll do it, but I don't suggest it. I don't think it's what's best. So yeah, I would not pay. Number 4, I wouldn't pay for someone to do your intro and your outro, particularly from the voiceover thing. If you want to pay someone to do the audio editing and the music and I understand. That's totally fine. It's probably easier than you think to learn it though, if you just YouTube, whether it's Audacity or GarageBand or whatever it is. But yeah, specifically the voiceover, I think is kind of a waste of money. Number 5, 5 of the services you most likely pay for that you forgot you pay for. So maybe you have Zoom and you have Riverside. Okay, you could probably get rid of one of those. Potentially. I'm not saying in every case, but you probably could, right? If you're doing pre-interviews, you could do pre-interview on StreamYard and the actual interview on StreamYard. You could do the actual interview on Riverside and the pre-call on Riverside. Is it harder to schedule sometimes because things don't connect as well? Yes, but you might save yourself some money there. What else? Maybe you pay for an AI service that you don't use anymore, whether it's a transcription thing, whether it's something you used to use but you forgot to cancel. That's a big piece for sure. Maybe you still pay for a social media schedule that you don't use. Okay, that's a piece. I would literally just go through all of the apps that are connected to your podcast workflow, and I'm willing to bet there are probably a couple that you can probably cancel. There was one that popped up for us recently, a QR code creator. We pay $5 a month for a QR code creator. I couldn't tell you the last time we made one. So I'm going to look into that, probably get rid of it. And then when we need it again, I'll buy it again, but we don't use QR codes that often, right? So there are probably a few, at least, services that you're paying for that you don't need anymore and you've just forgot. Just like in life. I mean, Paramount Plus and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus and this. You probably get rid of a couple of those that you don't use anymore, that you bought for a show that's no longer on. Podcasting's the same thing, in my mind. All right, number 6. Anything related to sponsorship opportunities that overpromise and require you to buy something. So when I was a bodybuilder, I guess I still do bodybuild, but I don't compete. When I was competing in bodybuilding, this was back in 2016, 2017, and there was a very big push at the time for sponsorships. So people would reach out all the time, hey, if you buy $100 worth of our gear, we'll sponsor you, quote unquote. And podcasting's similar. I mean, there's a lot of people that are willing to reach out to you and say, hey, if you buy this, this, and this, we will, quote unquote, sponsor you. You'll be part of our sponsorship team. You'll end up on the website, whatever it is. Anything that overpromises is probably a waste of money. Probably. Because it's very easy to say stuff like that. And that's its own little business model, right? That's like multi-level marketing in a nutshell. Like you buy $100 worth of equipment and then you share about it, you get your own affiliate code, and then when 100 people buy it under you, you move up to the next level. Like there's a lot of overpromising when it comes to that. So I would be very, very careful about anybody that reaches out that says they want to sponsor you. Just make sure you read the fine print. I've seen people get absolutely gaffed when it comes to this. I've also seen people that are actually doing quite well with sponsors. But we looked at the fine print together. We made sure everything was aligned. We did a lot of research on that, and they're actually doing really well. Just make sure you look at the fine print, because if you have to pay money to be sponsored, it's probably not a great sponsorship to have in the first place. All right, this one might be a little controversial. Number 7, buying high-end gear before you've earned an audience. So again, if you're balling, I just started working with a client and they bought $10,000 worth of gear to start. I mean, they have multiple cameras, multiple mics, multiple setups, an entire studio. They are doing very well financially. So for them, it's not worth nickel and diming and thinking about it. Just, I might as well just buy it. But if you're out there and you think you need the Shure SMB7 mic that's like $350 or however much it is now, you need the Rodecaster Pro audio interface because it has all the presets. You need the best lights. You need a Sony camera. In the beginning, I'm telling you, you're probably wasting your money. Unless you are so committed that you're going to do an episode every week forever. A lot of people go out and buy the nice equipment. Nice equipment is a differentiator for sure. But nobody's going to listen just because you have really nice stuff if the quality of the content isn't good yet. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't incrementally level up. Right? We'll be getting new mics and new cameras in 2026. My wife and I are actually moving, so I'll have a new studio in the beginning of 2026, which is great. But in the beginning, when I first started, I had the ATR 2100 microphone that was like $50 at the time. I was doing audio only. I didn't have a studio. I got in for like $100 total, and that was what it cost to start this. I know a lot of people that when they start, they go out and get a $600 mixer and a $600 mic, and you don't need that in the beginning. For most podcasters, almost under any circumstance, you don't really need that. I still use the Scarlett, either the 2i2. Yeah, I use the Scarlett 2i2. It has 2 XLR inputs. I can adjust. I can mute one. Awesome. I don't need a bunch of different presets and all that stuff. I don't need any of that. And most people don't. And I think this was like $150 maybe, something like that. So I'm not saying not to level up your equipment as you go. What I am saying is for most people, especially in the beginning, if you think that's going to be the catalyst to growth, no chance. That's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. You got to differentiate somewhere else. So don't spend $1,000 on your setup yet. It probably just isn't worth it. And then number 8, this one might be my favorite. Buying courses from people who don't even podcast. So I have seen so many people who have podcasted for like 50 episodes. And I mean this with all due respect, have essentially accomplished nothing in the industry. They don't have any products or services. They've never had big guests on, but they've done 50 episodes. And then they like kind of brand themselves as a podcast guru or whatever it is, right? The podcast coach everybody needs. And then they make a course. And it's whatever, $500 to grow, scale, and monetize your podcast. I'm telling you, you can probably find that information on YouTube because they did not learn enough over 50 episodes. Again, when I was 50 episodes in, I didn't know anything. Maybe that was me. That's probably a piece of it for sure. And it was earlier, so YouTube, there wasn't as much content out there about podcasting. But I don't know. I think this is probably one of the biggest wastes of money. Because it's easy to see a course and say, yeah, this is going to solve all my problems. And I'm not saying there aren't great courses out there. But there are a lot of people who don't really know how to actually grow a podcast because they started in a different place. And their experience, again, like if you're a celebrity and you start a podcast, you're starting on second base. You're starting on third base. It's not hard to get sponsorships when you're a celebrity. It's different. So like that style of course most likely isn't going to serve you. So just understand when you're buying a course or when you're getting anything, it's important to figure out where the person who created it started from. Because if they didn't start necessarily from where you started from, it might not be super valuable. I'll have a course at some point. It won't be $1 million because I think that's dumb as shit, honestly. But I created a course back in the day, and it was like right before COVID. And it was all based on like in-person setup type stuff. And I didn't have anything about Zoom. StreamYard and Riverside weren't existent yet. I was not optimized for remote virtual recordings. So by the time I finished it, it was like, this probably is not going to be super valuable to anybody in 2021 beyond. So at some point I'll make another course, but it's not going to be $5 million, and it's most likely not going to it's not going to guarantee that you're going to be an overnight sensation. And I still podcast, right? That's the difference. Is a lot of people, they make a course on podcasting after they finish podcasting. It's like, oh, I was successful, so successful in fact that I stopped doing it. It's like, well, I guess. I mean, that's one way to do it. But I would be very, very cautious. And this crosses over anything. Be very, very cautious of buying a course from somebody who doesn't do the thing that the course is about anymore. That. All right. So those are the 8 things. Real quick, we'll hammer through them again, and then I will get your butt on out of here. Ads, paying to be in a network, awards, interviews, views and listens to. For somebody to do your voiceover, I don't think it's worth it. Most likely, at least a few of the services or apps you pay for. Sponsorship opportunities / agencies. Buying high-end gear before you've earned an audience. Keyword being earned, because that is what you're doing. And then the last one is buying courses from people who don't even podcast. That one's probably my favorite, like tongue-in-cheek, because unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that haven't really accomplished much. There's a difference between quality, quantity, and results. Like doing 100 episodes is great. That's really something to be proud of. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can teach somebody else how to do 100 episodes. Or just because you've done 100 episodes does not mean you can teach somebody else how to monetize if you haven't yet. So maybe that's the piece, is buying courses from people who are teaching you something they've never done. I think that's probably the framing I would use. So that's the last one. All right. If you need help with any of these, if you want more highlights of spaces maybe you're wasting money and you want to do it for free, I can guarantee you, this is what I can guarantee you, a free 30-minute podcast breakthrough session will never be a waste of money because there's never money involved. So I'll have my link below in the show notes for that. And then Podcast Growth Nation, our private Facebook group for podcasters like you, that's also free. And we don't try to sell anything in there either. So that's another opportunity for free value. We'll have that in the show notes below as well. I hope that you're not wasting money. Most likely you are, because we all are in some way, shape, or form, myself included. But I hope that maybe something jumped off the page for you today where you said, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll pull back on that. Or maybe I have a new strategy based on the fact that this is somewhere I should invest my money. That is what I hope for you. Okay, as always, until next week, keep on crushing it, keep on podcasting, and I will talk to you all then.